Good evening, everybody. We are back. It's the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Well, the game, or the collection is Chronicles, but we're playing the adventure. It's time to pick up where we left off at the end of Monday. I am trying to remember where we were. It was a long chapter, 3 hours worth. And by the end of it, we found out that over time it occurred to me that the Magnus McGilded character, that dude with the big top hat, who is the defendant in this case, I don't know if the design was intentionally that of a leprechaun, but that's definitely how the localizers seem to have taken it. So I think if I have to voice him anymore, I'm going to have to try a forced bad Irish accent, because my Irish accent's terrible. But anyway, actually, I don't know if maybe the game audio is a little too hot. I'm gonna take it down a notch, just a notch. Yeah, how about that? All right. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. What on earth just happened in there? Mr. Naruhodo, I've managed to find out what happened. Miss Sato. I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. Oh, that's right. There was a big smoky disturbance that forced us to halt the trial for a recess. It was a forced recess via smoke. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? Why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. A young girl? Then could it be? Magnus McGilded was referring to a small child that he was protecting. So this is probably that person. The other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about? Yeah, like I was saying. My thoughts exactly. So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There's so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here. I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl. Who is she, I wonder? What has she been doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself? There's another matter that's troubling me. What's that? The 20 pence. Oh, according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo... I should stop trying to recap on my own, because this is right after chapter break, so they usually do a bit of that, and they write it into the story on purpose. My bad. He took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence, exactly. But now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers. Which means the figures don't seem to add up again. She's right. That is strange.
Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed into the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes.
Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. We'll know soon enough, Miss Sato. Yes. Oh god. I'm so afraid of what to do with... I'm pretty sure this is going to be Iris, the pink-haired girl in the thumbnail. And I hope I can give her a voice that isn't annoying to myself and everyone who listens. Oh, who's this? Never mind. Or at the very least, as of right now, it does not look like the pink girl. Who knows? There's a young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before.
Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks. My lord. I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army? What in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. And now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom?
Wait, did you actually say something? Nope.
What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior?
If I may, my lord.
Yes, Mr. McGilded.
Perhaps I ought to explain here. Why it is that this wee lass here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that. It's all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Oh, he just put a stop to the music with that.
Very well, Mr. McGilded. Give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case.
I need to get my head back into what Van Zeek sound like, because I actually don't think that's how he was on Monday. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. Here we go. The young girl. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then Begorra. Yep, Begorra. Okay, this guy is definitely Irish, and my Irish accent is terrible. Oh my god. A loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fellow collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up in the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There's a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away.
I remain somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct?
It's exactly as the defense counsel said. This lass was the 5th passenger, my lord.
Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel?
Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. I love this expression he has. It's so dumb-looking. Alright, let's go. Probably nodded off. He did say as much before. Hold it! When you first got onto the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either. I am all over the place with this guy.
You're the first passenger, as it were. I see.
Aye, and that's why I took the back side as I did. 'Tis the most comfortable, so it is. Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means, 'tis I already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease.
And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well.
Wow. Baron's just shutting up. Then Begora, a loud thud, and a wee scream woke me up with the first start. Okay, I need to decide where to go this guide. A loud thud, you say? And a scream? Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? It was like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor, having been stabbed? Well, now, you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me and opened me eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor. You didn't see anyone. But at the same moment, you did hear a scream.
Ah, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume.
Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from the inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before me eyes. Collapsed on the floor at his feet, sat up on the seat across from him. Hold it! You sat him up? The victim, you mean? That I did. On the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor, now would you? 'Tis common courtesy, so it is.
I find that a little hard to believe.
Ara? Is that a thing Irish people say?
Ara, Lord Van Zieks. Now why would that be? You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is.
Well, now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business.
The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest.
Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle of trouble. Are you suggesting you're just going to leave the man there? Hey, Red, good to see you. Hope you enjoy any time you spend here with us today.
Heavens alive, no! I was always intending to report it, so I was.
Only, I had a mind to find out the whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores. Right you are. There are some details I want to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yes, the scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. Oh, that's weird. The scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. Then I turned to find out where the scream had come from. And what did I find? Hold it! I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir, so I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well, no, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside.
Good gracious.
Under your backside? When I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage. Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? Yes, of course. The whole bus was submitted as evidence, which is crazy. This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside. But we did that already, last stream. And that's when I found her. There was a child in there all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. You say she was hiding herself? Aye, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, my heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. You're really overacting this. So am I. Still in all, I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chinwag with her. FYI, chinwag in British parlance just means a talk. Nothing vulgar. Just a talk. The seat opposite? That's right. Just next to the dead gentleman there.
You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir.
Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream. A fellow's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with the knife in his belly.
In other words, the previous witnesses did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGilded. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this girl and the late Mr. Mason?
Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight.
It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused, perhaps, with this young girl.
After that, of course, with the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses.
Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl who's been posing awkwardly for about 20 minutes now?
Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer. Earns a crust among large crowds, believing people are their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What?
This girl here, a petty thief. Order, order. Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question.
Whoa!
Oh! How dare you? What is the meaning of this? Ah! The girl. She's gone.
Who said open your eyes? Open your eyes! Oh god. I'm over here.
Good gracious, how?
What was the point of that little sidestep? I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught in the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on, that's what's in your heads, ain't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the... Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do there is these fingers. I'm still like in Magnus's mode. Like I've really effed up my ability to remember what accents I'm using. Cause this is like typical Cockney urchin, right? Cockney urchin. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. Let me guess. You don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs. Oh, this? Yeah, this is in a bag I lifted the other day, down where they keep the four-wheel drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best. Scottish, huh? I have a suspicion that this is actually Wilson, or Iris Wilson. So I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Ah. Do not wave that thing in my direction again. So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question?
It is alright, lass. You can tell them the truth now. Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said.
The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question.
Alright, if I have to. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I tell you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out my skin, I did. And the scream just came out. It's because of that this swell found me. He did help me get away, mind. Yes, he let you go.
I fail to understand why you would let this street urchin go, Mr. McGilded.
Oh, 'tis simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? As I'm sure I've said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself.
I think a demonstration is called for.
This is where I was sat that night.
Then the cubbyhole in which you have spoken is underneath this seat, I presume. Yes. It does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature.
Aye, but of course the wheel ass was stuck in there. As I'd parked myself on the seat for the duration.
Ah.
So you see, that's why I let the last bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent.
Even though you must have realized your action would result in your own innocence being called into question.
Not at all, my lord, not at all. Oh, they're back in the picture now, too? I knew in my own heart I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman.
My lord. This fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this.
Oh, hi Celestial Bronze, welcome to the stream. Hope you enjoy your time here.
I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir.
Hey, we're convincing more people, let's go! Yeah. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Sick. Yes, it is. My first time playing at Celestial Bronze. So I will say that if you have played it before, please no spoilers if you can try to not say any in the chat. Thank you.
Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty.
Mr. Naruhodo, this... Well, it must mean... It must mean what? That we're victorious! We've... won? Are you sure?
Objection!
Oh, shit! He's brought out the leg. What a power move. Alright.
If the sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray do forgive the discourtesy.
Whoa. Wild takes.
This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices, where evidence and reasoning should be paramount, emotion rules the day.
Emotion?
The witness's latest statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature.
What do you mean, his true nature?
Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report. Good lord. The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGilded's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat.
What? Yeah, Ryunosuke has such a dramatic, slam against the wall. Like, no other attorney to date has had something quite like that, and I like it.
Order! Order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been effected, counsel? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty.
Oh shoot, does that mean that if I checked the omnibus again at the beginning of this chapter, it would have looked empty? Because I do remember there were things in there when I looked at it last time.
Well, my Nipponese friend.
Me?
When the code was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as would any self-respecting practitioner of law. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be?
Or to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead. You tell the court now, fella.
Oh, this is all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zeeks.
But I did see things in there, though.
Well, counsel, do you have anything to say on this matter?
How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat in the omnibus? It wasn't empty. I'm gonna be truthful here. I'm supposed to be a guy who respects the truth. I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my cause as counsel for the defense. But as far as I remember, at least. When I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there were a number of articles inside it, yes.
Are you sure, counsel?
I'll be whist.
What are you saying now, you deaf doll? I thought you were on my side here. What game are you playing? Your task is to defend the man in the stand. Why would you say something to compromise his position?
As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I'm still not entirely sure where I stand. But it seems to me that I should state what facts I do know as clearly and honestly as possible. Good guy, Ryunosuke.
Interesting.
"'Tis not altogether pleasing, fella. I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded.
Well, don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interests here, lad. Now then.
A fella's memory is a curious thing, and not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider the facts. That there cubbyhole under the seat is as empty as a devil's heart, so it is. Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interest now to admit that you might have been mistaken?" Why? Why do I feel like something's not right here?
I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The Guild's rules state that omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times. So it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Beppo isn't that irresponsible. That money-lending Friesa and the pick purse are lying.
He's changing it again! Son of a bitch. Ah! I can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinking rich are always stinkers. None but cowards, a lot of them. What? Oh, no. It's a trick! Of course it's a trick! Damn it. But I'm just being honest. I'm sure the actual explanation is still in my favor. That's how these games work. Quite so. I must concur here. Damn firebender jurors. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Yes, but every time a different truth, it seems. Oh, my favorite bow. That lazy, slow bow.
My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please.
Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. What the girl saw. So I snuck inside the carriage after they hooked up the horses, just like always. Alright, I think Cockney's coming back to me. Ever so slightly. So, you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run? Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of spending in Joey to make a few bob, eh? That's a rum idea, ain't it? I suppose she means there's no point spending money to make money. That actually makes sense.
Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief. Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants.
Well, that does clear up a little mystery of the fares and all. 4 paying passengers at 5 pence apiece, making the 20 to which the cabman testified. And 1 little scapegrace riding for free. Red conk of a driver always goes for some grub before his last run. See, oh dang it, right after, if I have to do the voice right after Magnus, I lose it. So that's why I slip into the carriage and get myself in under the seat. Nice and easy, right?
But your hiding place is a storage compartment. Full of equipment for the coach, no?
Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I always chuck all that out and cram it in a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. I should be saying bother. TH sound should be V's in Cockney.
And yet, according to the report filed by a police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia.
Well, I'll know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you.
It seems we've reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue.
That was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. Hold it. A waste of time? Why is that? Well, most nights I'm on my own in the God permit at least some of the time.
I beg your pardon. Did you say God permit?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what my kind call it. You say the omnibus, I suppose. The point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. And that's when you come out of your hiding place and get away. That's it. Only that night. This cove was sat on my seat from the start. And he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck.
Do you mean to tell us you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while events unfolded in the enclosed cabin?
Yeah. Right, mister?
To be sure, to be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. Don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on and find a child now, do you?
So Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then. I gotta say that this Allegro version of the testimony theme isn't my favorite. I kind of like the one from Leighton vs. Wright more, and I think that would also fit here. I tell you, can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all. Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion up with my head and look out the crack. Then I can have a butcher's at whom I'm gonna fiddle. I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. Oh, she's starting to use rhyming slang that I don't understand. I mean, I can have a look. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other one, see? So most of the time, the passengers plant themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head. And for that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out. I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown in the clink. That's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's Obson's choice. Why don't she just stick to picking people's pockets in the open then? I'd say there's some reason that she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor. So anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to just stick it out into there. Nothing else for it. Then after a while I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out my skin I did, and the scream just came out. Hold it. When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. And you let out a scream involuntarily. That's right. And then I felt the cushion over me head get light all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes.
Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab his victim, could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened at that crucial moment?
Yeah, I saw it. I pushed up the cushion and had a quick butcher's while I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up the bloke while I'd fallen on the floor in the seat opposite. That matches Mr. McGilded's account, of course. But then, the fella suddenly turns and looks right at me. He sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should never have risked looking. It's because of that the swell found me. He did help me get away, mind. And when Mr. McGilded discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place? I was scared stiff, I was. He dragged me out and sat me down in the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason. Yeah, the bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. And then the carriage lurched a bit and he ended up falling onto me. How awful. Both my hands got covered in blood. Make me feel sick as a dog. Both her hands covered in blood. That must be what the rooftop passengers saw. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGilded for a while. Is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know my name and what I was up to and that. Then I heard something from up above. Someone screamed.
Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume.
Well, I didn't want no one to see my face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawn up smartish, and near the Irishman, he says to me, "Get back under the seat. I'll see you can get away later." All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yes. It's clear that they're all still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, I'm sure we would clinch the verdict we want. Yes, I think you're right. And I have this niggling feeling. Another word, FYI. Niggling just means, a bothering feeling. Something that's lightly bothering you. Like nagging, almost. Something's bothering me. I just can't quite put my finger on it. Alright. Let's see. What do we have here in my evidence that would produce some sort of thing? This was a victim. I don't think there's anything really about that. The defendant's gloves are Magnus's gloves and have nothing to do with the kid. Why don't we look inside the compartment again? Did I inspect this blood spot before? Blood. Something wrong. Wait. Has this been tampered with? What's in here now? Has a handle. It is empty now. This is a storage compartment, but there's nothing in here. It's totally empty. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on what it is. Is it that... Did he tamper with this crime scene? Was that bloodstain always on the floor in the... before? Is there any statement that I can refute talking about blood on the floor? Nothing to show. Can't see a thing. Pitch in there. Loud bang. That was new. I feel like it needs to be this bang thing. Let's press this again and see what they say about it. Falling to the floor. Could have been, suppose. Don't remember so well. The other one, they help the victim. Accuses or stab the victim. Fallen on the floor in the seat opposite. Let's see. I mean, the way the blood is distributed makes me wonder, because it's like, if he was stabbed, went on the floor, and there's a big puddle on the floor, shouldn't there be more blood on him? No, it was a single stab went to the abdomen. It has to do something with this. We've talked about it before. Okay, I'm gonna assume it has something to do with the omnibus. The omnibus has to be the right piece of evidence. I just don't know which statement. So what I'm gonna do... in the interest of moving the story along, without thinking too hard about it, I'm just gonna play the numbers game. Let's see if this is the right place to present an omnibus. Let's go. Nope. I need that music to stop. The witness's last statement is clear at odds with this piece of evidence.
I'm sorry, Counsel, but I failed to see the connection.
Oh.
And for heaven's sake, would you kindly desist from that wide-eyed, panic-stricken look you all want to wear? But it's the only panic-stricken look I know. It's the only animation they gave me in the files.
Alright. Let's... Wait, no. Could have been... Point is... Sorry, didn't mean to press that again. He did help me get away. Maybe that helping of getting away has something to do with the tampering of the omnibus. Let's try presenting that here. Nope. Oh wait, this is new dialogue. Let's just consider the implication of that statement for a moment, shall we?
What implications, Counsel? Nothing strikes me about it.
Exactly. There's nothing striking about it. Think about it.
What does strike me is your propensity for the inane, however.
I need to clear my head and come at this again from a different angle. Shit. Yeah, I think I'll give it one more try. Snuck inside the carriage. I mean, the fact that she was able to hide it all... Like, we don't know where she put that stuff that's supposed to be inside that compartment, right? Nope. Oh, dang it. Every single one of these is different. Objection! There's clearly something odd about that last statement made by the witness.
There's clearly something odd here indeed. Your behavior, Counsel.
Oh! Haha! Please, don't mind me.
That would be significantly easier if you would lower your hand.
I won't lower my hand until I prove my client's innocence, as long as it's quite quick. But then he does lower his hand immediately afterward. Alright, let's load a save. I don't feel like I'm wrong in thinking it is the omnibus, though. Alright, then let's just go systematically. I've presented at 3 of the 5 statements here. And there's no other interactions from Magnus. He doesn't react when we're talking so far. If this doesn't work, I might just press all the statements again and see if I see new reactions. Because I think that happened in the previous case. Nope. Is it the same thing? Yeah, okay. We're finally into redundant stuff. Nah, this doesn't seem like the right place, but let's try. Nope. Okay, so it's not the omnibus. Strange. Oh wait, that was all new. That reveals a damning inconsistency, that last statement.
Damning, you say? As I look at you, Counselor, I see your trembling hand, your pallid expression, your perspiring brow.
Huh?
It seems to me that that is the damning inconsistency here, with the misplaced confidence of your assertion.
For the moment, I am, but I'm working through it. I think I'll get there soon enough. He has a damning tongue. At least this gives me an opportunity to see what all the failure dialogue is.
You invite it, sir.
Alright, so I guess that's all the statements that I could try presenting that on. Then what is the relevant piece of information? There's blood on this tip here. Yeah, we read that before. What about this? M. Okay, nothing new about the way that was examined. Am I missing something about the omnibus? Is there like additional stuff that I need to be looking at within the omnibus to change the omnibus? Okay, appreciate the tip, because that did happen once before. Let's see if Magnus has something different to say now. That's the same as before. Okay. That's all the same. I mean, they're debating here. This is all the same as before. Okay. Let's press this one again. We're just gonna go pressing through them. Yeah, all that stuff about God permit, blah blah blah. Huh. Now, is it so subtle that people might be reacting without, like, the icon indicator? I hope it's not that crazy. They didn't give me any indication that it would be like that. Okay. Just going through every statement. Couldn't see out. There we go. That didn't happen before. I don't like how that only happens on the second run through. That's different. I'm not sure I like that. Anyway. Choto! I like Choto better than excuse me. I don't know if I like that exclamation. Is something wrong, Mr. Gilded? Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no. 'Twas nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad, shut up in the dark. 'Twas terrifying, so it was. I see. Yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm still scared of the dark now. Or I'm still scared of the dark now. Aye, and I don't know about yourself, but I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well. Yeah. Alright, yeah. I'm glad you gave me that tip, Punowit, because now I know that's something I can try immediately. In fact, I might need to just do it as a matter of course now, if that's how information gets revealed, and it happens multiple times. That feels new to this game. Not sure I like it. I suppose it does. Maybe. Miss Lestrade? Did you hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps? Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. It jabbers. There's no need to tell the whole world of me foibles, you little scamp. What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue. Yes. What should you make of that last statement of hers? It's profoundly important. Of course it's always important. Change the testimony. You have to change the testimony. My lord, I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important. Profoundly important? But all she said was that she heard nothing. Yes, which is the profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it. I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern mind, Counsel. Nevertheless, Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that last statement, please. What? Supplement? What are you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do, but it won't work on me. That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move. I was straining my ears to work out what was going on, but all I could hear was snoring. Hold it. So you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time, since the moment you hid yourself? Not exactly, no. Sorry? Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what was what. But then, when I saw this swell getting on, I got my head down so he didn't notice me. Then Mr. McGilded sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct? Yeah, but you had him in even, eh? What a mug. So then all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out of there as soon as I heard him leave, see? But would he? Not likely. Even though he stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. Just had to stay put and listen to him driving his piece to market. Snore like an old dog he was. Are there any conclusions we can draw from that, I wonder? Wait, hold on. Let's see what she just said. Okay, sat on the seat. How come it says the seat under which you're hiding? Wouldn't it be the seat over? That's weird. But that doesn't make any sense for the refutation we're making here. Would you Adam and Eve it? Yeah, that's rhyming slang for believe. Never heard the door open. Right. That doesn't add up, because she should have heard someone else get on. Miss Lestrade, what you just told the court is clearly at odds with the facts. Ah?
At odds? Are you sure, man?
Absolutely.
It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared.
So Van Zieks realized it too.
Counsel, I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least.
Yes, my lord.
I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court.
According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGilded snoring. But think, Ryunosuke, think. There's something else she should have heard. This will probably warrant a save. But we should have heard... Well, we should have heard Mason. We should have heard him get on, we should have heard him get stabbed, we should have heard him fall, we should have heard all sorts of things out of him. Oh, she has a profile now. Oh, she's 17. That means she's probably not Iris. Even though she has a gun and everything. She has, like, inventions and stuff? I don't know. Unless she can do crazy, like, costume stuff. Before I take an actual stab at this, let's just go ahead and save. Let's show a person. Very well, my lord. Allow me to elaborate on a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. The sound very clearly explained by the presence of the following person. Take that!
Thrice-fired Mason.
Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear. Oh, what a camera move! Is that the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus?
Order, order! Explain your reasoning, counsel.
Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus. Is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. I got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person aboard the omnibus was Mr. McGilded. That it was. Not a soul was in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least, not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time. Did I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, so get on, remember? To the crack under the seat cushion. He's on his own for sure. And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time, did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? No, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, wasn't it? Waiting for this swell to leave. In which case, When and how did the victim end up in the carriage? We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrede's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts.
Yes, this petty thief's statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Zieks.
Yes. He knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrede's statement. Or Lestrade, I can't decide on how to pronounce it.
It would seem words of thanks are in order for my learned friend.
What are you talking about?
You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more.
He's dead right. How could the victim possibly know it boarded the omnibus? That makes no sense whatsoever.
And this girl's a pickpocket. Let's not forget that.
She's ready to go already. Oh wow, wordless. She doesn't even care. She didn't even say anything. Oh yeah, he noticed too.
I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she has some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars.
Neither can I.
Mr. Foreman.
I don't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars.
Shit. Mr. Naruhodo, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty.
Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. Yes, very refreshing.
What are you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern Amadan? This is carnage. It's perfect.
Juror number 2 is the only one left. Mr. Naruhodo, the way this is going, I know. We can't find some new way to convince everyone that Mr. McGilded's innocent. The judge will rule and we'll have lost. I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen. But those of us in service know we must accept hard truths. Hold it! Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case.
What are you saying?
Counsel? I'm sorry, sir. Whatever do you mean?
Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogue my adjudication. Explain yourself at once. When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus?
There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. After he died. Ooh. Let's just make sure that I don't screw up too bad here. He was in there already, doesn't make much sense. There's another entrance, also makes no sense to me. I would possibly entertain the theory of 2 separate carriages somehow, but I think put there after he died makes the most sense. Let's try. Yes! Or I think if it goes away, it's good. That's usually how it goes. Obviously, the victim must have been placed in the carriage after he was killed.
Objection! Tell me, my learned friend, what was the function of that obviously in your last sentence? Well said, Lord Van Zieks. The obviously is troubling me also.
No. That's really not the point. The point is that the victim must have been moved into the carriage afterwards.
Then answer me this. How could a cadaver have been placed inside a moving carriage?
That's a good point. Well, obviously, never mind. Fuck.
I shall have to penalize the defense heavily for this irrelevant rambling.
I must learn to ramble more relevantly.
The penalty is evidently not heavy enough, judging from those Nipponese eyes.
Wow, dude. That's starting to feel a little offensive here.
So I ask you again. If this petty thief was to be believed, I explain, blah 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 blah.
Alright, let's just reload. I don't like being down to 1. I'm just gonna load. Alright, they've already made it clear that he was in there already makes the most sense in a moving carriage. So let's try this, I guess. But how does that work? Whatever. Let's try it. Oh, this is looking too much like the other thing. Clearly he was in there already from beforehand.
Objection! Tell me, my learned friend, what was the function of that clearly in your last sentence?
Alright, never mind. No. Everyone shut up. There's another entrance. How do you mean, though? Whatever. If the door wasn't open even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way.
Objection! I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with your blind... I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door, the other has only windows. Fixed windows which cannot possibly open. In short, there is no entrance to the cabin other than the door.
Objection. But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered.
Oh, really?
Yes. One other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the closed cabin. Or to appear. In quotes. Or in apostrophes? What do you call those? Single quotes?
All right, counsel. The defense will identify the location for the court. Here's the omnibus on which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim enter the cabin?
Oh, wow, really? This is weird. I'm starting to wonder, is it possible to go this far down a wrong path? Like, where would this guy have been? I mean, the skylight possibly, but then that would mean that those two guys above would have seen it. But below doesn't make much sense to me either. But the skylight's the only, like, way in. Right? Man, this is kind of confusing. I feel like these are actual shots in the dark. I feel like I have very little to actually go on. I'm gonna go with the skylight just because it's the most obvious other entrance other than the windows, I guess. Let's just see. Take that! The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight. Okay. Let's actually refer to it, so that's probably a good thing.
I say, the skylight? Objection! Your ludicrous proposal almost has me lost for words. However,
Objection! I think the two sides of the cabin, like, there's windows on one side, the actual main entrance on the other side, and then on the front and back there are two posters. There's like a poster of like an Eiffel Tower looking thing on the back, and another poster for like some fair or upcoming exhibition on the other side. The skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
objection! So you claim. But do you have a shred of evidence to support your addle-brained theory?
Both Mr. McGilden and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as a noise made by someone falling to the floor.
Yes, which has already been explained. As the sound of the victim falling from his seat, having been assaulted with the dagger.
Yes, it has. But would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witnesses describe? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact.
Good gracious.
Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection! You're now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin? That's simply impossible.
How can you be so sure?
Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen.
Yeah, that's why I didn't think it would have been it. Unless they're the murderer. One of them's probably the murderer.
And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony.
Well, yes, that's true, but... Ooh, hold it.
Hold it!
Might a humble fella make a wee comment here?
Mr. McGilded.
To be sure now, the two fellows who were sat on the roof that testified afore said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but... Aye. 'Tis a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellas do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would yous not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Oh my goodness. Surely not. Those two chaps on the roof?
Whoa! Look at her go. You mean the ones who stuck that knife in the man were...
Oh!
Hold it says... Oh, these two.
Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blitherer?
You rotter, he said. You rotter! What are you insinuating?
This is a flaming outrage. I'm a good man to give you a blinker in a minute.
He'll give you a shine in a minute, he said. And so will I.
Mr. Fairplay.
You're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected banker.
And me, a very angry hatter.
Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. I protest. I protest in the strongest possible terms.
That's right. I protest too. About you, you rotten scoundrel.
Order, order, order! This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. Oh, it's outrageous.
It's very hurtful, you know.
My lord, if I may comment.
Go ahead, Lord Van Zieks.
It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. Accuse? I never intended to. It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. Oh, okay, buddy. I know, man. Our English is fine, it seems. Man, these guys suck.
You propose to this court that the victim fell through the skylight through the roof deck of the omnibus.
That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You've intimated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation. I know I was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought.
What are we wasting time for? Get them to the... testify!
Oh, I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We have to see this matter through now, in one way or another.
If there's filth and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it at once.
Testify! Testify! Testify!
What's happening, Mr. Naruhodo? The spectators in the public gallery they're in a complete frenzy.
Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. My lord. You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony in reference to the indictment brought by the defense. Yes, my lord.
I didn't come here for this. There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keeping pushing forward. I think it should just be keep pushing forward. Alright, guys. It's down to this.
We were the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive. I can swear to that.
If anything had happened when we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed?
In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man.
The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it.
If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof?
That's a very direct invitation to present evidence. I wonder if that's the statement we need to use.
I must say that on listening to this testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine how either witness could have performed any malevolent act on this open rooftop deck, without the other noticing forthwith. That's right, you see.
We're innocent, I tell you. Although, logically, of course, the argument falls down if the two of you were in collusion with one another.
What?
Eh?
According to the investigations by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses share no common dealings.
Ha! Well, I don't trust coppers anymore, I trust the stinking rich. Something doesn't feel right here. The trial's going in our favor, really. So why do I feel so uneasy?
Counsel for the defense, over to you. Your cross-examination, please.
Oh, yes, my lord.
We were the only two people on that roof deck, dead or alive. I can swear to that.
Hold it! So at no time did the victim, Mr. Mason, climb up to join you on the roof deck?
Absolutely not, Dickon.
No question about it, he said. None at all. Oh, but yes, of course. I remember seeing them both. I saw the victim inside the enclosed cabin talking with this man here.
Is this true, Mr. McGilded?
Dear me, my lord, at the risk of repeating myself, I boarded the omnibus alone and nodded off inside almost immediately.
That's an outright lie. Without doubt, you engaged in...
Let me stop you there, fella, and ask, do you have any evidence at all,
Oh.
Tis all about evidence in the courts these days, so it is. You do well to remember that.
Oh, I saw you, with my own eyes.
This is going so well.
If anything had happened where we were sitting, don't you think one of the other of us would have noticed? Hold it! Well, it was on the final run of the omnibus at past 10 o'clock in the evening. It would certainly have been quite dark. Perhaps too dark to see clearly?
Is this some kind of a lark?
You having a laugh? This is some kind of joke, he said. Is that what this is? Or perhaps one or the other of you fell asleep briefly.
Oh, you fair dinkum, sir.
Are you serious, sir? That's what he said. It's impossible, I tell you. Why is he galloping like a horse?
I'd give you the keys to the vault if you could fall asleep in that bit of cold. And if you did manage it, your eyelids would freeze shut. You'd never open them again.
That's extreme. It was extreme, I tell you, and we had to put up with it because this man had locked the door. Any true gent would have unlocked it and let me in when I knocked. I'm dreadfully sorry about that, young fella. But you see, I was away with the fairies and I didn't hear you at all. It's a lie. I saw you through the glass. You were talking to someone. Now, 'twas a cold night, so it was. People do be seeing things that aren't real in the cold. 'Tis hardly surprising. Seeing things? Seeing things?
I believe we have reached an impasse here on this particular point.
Ugh, you... Don't take it personally now, lad. If I'm a suspect in this case, then it's only fair that you and the other fiend are too. Open and free competition is what a capitalist society is all about. This isn't a competition I should like to be involved in, really.
In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man.
Hold it. So, you'd never met Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason before?
Oh, Lummy, no! Not once, never!
He'd never met the man before, he said. Never.
And you, Mr. First, had no prior dealings with the victim either.
That's right, sir. Hatters don't have much to do with brickmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir.
No, I imagine not. You see? How many different ways can I put this? Neither of us have the remotest...
Oh, here we go. Alright, so this is the statement to press later.
Neither of us have the remotest connection to the gentlemen who were inside the cabin.
That's right. This is about motive, and we had none.
No, motive,
And, well, that's not all, is it? The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it. Hold it.
Are you quite certain about that? That the skylight was shut the entire time?
I'm going to lose my block with you in a minute.
He's going to lose his rag with you in a minute. That's what he said.
Take a look for yourself. Go on. You see? It's shut fast now, just like it was on the night.
So it is. Of course, a fellow the size of Mr. Mason could likely break right through it, still and all.
What?
Just looking at the size of the thing, you understand?
Oh, now you hold on there a minute, sir. The size of the ting means nothing. Not on its own. Let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we?
Let's stop biting arcane, shall we?
I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when, well, I broke wind, loudly. I shocked myself with it as it happens.
Really? There's just a guy talking about farting now?
This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First.
Oh, I just mean to say, well, the point is, I tried to open the skylight, you see. But, just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. I went as red as rouge, I did.
Are you expecting me to sentence you?
Oh, no, sir. The point is, the skylight can't be opened. I tried and tried when I was inside that cabin of shame.
Whoa, okay, so another pressable. Or pursuable. Okay. That's fine. Skylight doesn't open, you say?
So that proves it. We couldn't have kicked the victim down into the cabin below, I tell you. Neither of us could.
Nobody mentioned anything about kicking anyone.
Like I said, these details are little nuggets at best. It's the motherlode we should be looking for.
Where's your proof? Alright, so we got 2 statements to pursue on. Proof.
That's right, I demand to hear it.
We came here to say what we saw, I tell you, not for this.
But you call us both shysters.
Shysters? Shysters? Shickers? Well, I don't know what that is.
Brand us as criminals.
You call us liars, that's what he means, and accuse us of doing it. As it stands at the moment, there's no hard evidence that incriminates yourselves now, is there? I believe we're in much the same position as one another here.
Oh,
if I don't crack this case soon, he'll crack his teeth. I wonder if these 2 men really were involved in some way. I couldn't say. I mean, I don't really know anything about them, do I? Although by the same token, I don't really know anything about Mr. McGilded either. It's so hard to know what to believe here. I think we should try to remember that it's evidence alone that can truly determine the outcome of a trial. Evidence. No one can argue against decisive evidence, including the members of the jury. So you're saying that what we need now is to find a conclusive piece of evidence?
Yes, Mr. Naruhodo, precisely.
Okay. Okay, I think it was this one that had the bit where someone perks up. Na. Alright, let's pursue Mr. McGilded. I wonder what he sounds like in English for that. Choto! I don't know. Choto, instead of excuse me, I wish it were something else, like just a moment, or a moment, or... Heck, I would even accept hold on instead of hold it, if they need to distinguish it. Mr. McGilded?
Yes, Counsel. What can I be doing you for?
Did the witness's last statement give you pause for thought somehow?
Not the remotest connection. Is that right now? I wonder. What are you insinuating now?
Ah, Mr. Fairplay. It has been too long, so it has.
Eh?
If I'm not very much mistaken... Oh god, I'm losing his voice so bad. If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe 'tis fast approaching, is it not? Your repayment date.
I beg your pardon.
You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir.
An unconscionable rate of interest? You tricked me. It's extortion.
Well, now, is that a touch of begrudgery, is it? Sort of begrudgery that might motivate a fella to pass his crimes off on another.
Oh!
And young Mr. First. Me, sir? What do you want with me, sir? You do be making hats for a living, do you not? That there top hat sliding about on your head. Is that one of your own creations, is it? Oh, well, I'm still just an apprentice, you understand. I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. The perfect fit, is it? Well, 'tis a very distinctive design, so 'tis. Many customers like it, I tell you. They like a distinctive touch. Customers, such as thrice-fired Mason. There's a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence afore, my lord.
Hmm? Oh, this, you mean?
I can't help thinking that the poor fellow's hat looks distinctly familiar, wouldn't you say? Oh. That's one of my hats. Aye, that it is. So it would seem the brickmaker was a customer of yours. Sort of customer, I'd wager, you could have had a wee quarrel with over the distinctiveness of the goods. No, sir. Absolutely not, sir. Well, there's really not more to add. It wouldn't be right to say that the two fellas here haven't the remotest connection to the victim, you see. Now he bows. I rest my case.
You little weasel. Oh.
He's better at this than I am. Gosh, Mr. McGilded has certainly been thorough in his research, hasn't he? Please, don't let me little interruption hold up the proceedings. Shut the entire time until you can possibly open it. This one also had a pursuit in it. Quite certain, blah blah blah. Moves right, that's what he said. Take a look, go on. Being shut fast. Of course, spell said I could like look through it, still no. What? Just looking at the size. Size means nothing. Let's consider big picture, shall we? I was writing the omnibus on another occasion when I broke. Wait a minute. Oh, where's the thing that made Gina? Ah, there we go. Okay. Okay, that time I actually understood the Japanese line there. She was like, "There's no way," or she was about to start saying, "There's no way." All right, Gina, let's hear it. Excuse me. Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade. It opens. Hmm? The skylight. That's what we're talking about, right? Wow, look at her go. This is good. All them skylights open, dead easy. More easily than you can load that weapon. It's a lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, I... You can't do it from inside, you mug. Oh. Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags. And I had a great haul. I mean, I had purses coming out my ears.
Miss Lestrade, this is not the forum to be eulogizing on the subject of your criminal activities.
Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. All four of them surrounded me, so I couldn't hop off the bus and leg it. So what I did was, I used a skylight, opened the catch and jumped right through. Right through. What? Yeah, the catch for them skylights is on the top side. That's why we can't open them from the cabin. The skylight opens from the roof deck.
Bailiff, climb up onto the roof of the omnibus at once and verify this witness's claims.
By Jove. Oh my hat. See? Well then, that seems to change some things.
Order, order, order! So, it appears that this street girl's statement is quite true.
I don't believe it. The skylight opens. And from the roof deck.
Sorry. Pardon the interruption.
Mr. Naruhodo. This could be the clue we've been looking for.
Well, counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. So, the skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate for myself. Indeed. Let's take a quick look at this. So the skylight was fastened shut before. But now the catch has been undone, so we should be able to open it. So it slides toward them. You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin. So I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly. That's not good for us. If I open it up, and then open it in. Oh, hello. There's blood here. Yes, it does open very wide, doesn't it? Wide enough to kick someone like you through, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. Why is someone like me... Ah! What is it? Look, just here. Look at this. That's, without question, it's blood. How would there be a blood stain there? I ask as though I didn't posit the very reason why there would be a blood stain there.
Surely, it can't be unrelated to the case, can it? Oh, come on. If we see these sorts of things, we should just say, oh shit, there it is. Like, that proves everything. Alright. We got what we need. Now there's... Now we have what we need. Oh, and there's the proof. We're even conveniently on it, but I'm ever so slightly paranoid. I failed enough tonight. Boy, have I failed a lot tonight. But this seems pretty easy if I can just do this. There's a bloodstain visible on the frame of the skylight when it's open. Yeah, that lines up perfectly with this statement. Objection! On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach. And immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts, and the irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in this very courtroom.
What? That's utter humbug. No, you can't possibly have any evidence.
No, you can't. I mean, we didn't do it, I tell you. It's impossible.
Irrefutable proof. Here in this courtroom. Counsel.
My lord.
I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here, Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? You will point out what it is that proves the victim fell from the roof deck through the skylight.
Oh, my jaw just cracked. Did that pick up on the mic? I wonder. I'll listen back for it later. Let's look for that blood. Where's the blood? There we are. Hey, it even gets highlighted here. Present.
Kokoda!
It's here, not got it. In Japanese, that's here. It is here. Would that work if the exclamation was just here instead of got it? Got it's very close to Apollo Justice's gotcha! Anyway.
By Jupiter, is that blood? Oh.
This bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open.
What?
And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening. Oh my. And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime. No, they say together. I can't do two voices at once.
Order, order, order!
Oh wow, he actually said it with a voice.
Hold it! But the blood could have sprayed up there when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin.
And only found its way to that one particular spot on the skylight?
So that would be very convenient.
And let's keep it in mind that the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I? But, there's no way to know for certain, is there? If the gent really fell through the skylight, I mean. Why don't you have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First? It is all too plain, if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fella dropped from a fair height right there, so it is.
What?
No. But it can't be. It's all lies.
Hold it, my fellow jury members. I think we can all agree that this is clear proof of the defendant's innocence, can't we?
I believe we can, yes, sir. It's clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom. So, they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they? Oh, it's such a satisfying slap of the typewriter thing. It's good impact on it.
I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it.
Oh, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful park couldn't have done such a thing. You need to... Grandma, I don't like how easily you flip-flop your opinion, and you look like a blobfish.
On three then, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Objection!
Wow. Good take from Magnus over there.
A chilling performance, Mr. McGilded.
Oh? And what would you be referring to there now, Lord Van Zeeks?
A bloodstain on the frame of the skylight. Such evidence is null and void.
What? Why?
For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed.
Objection! What are you talking about? It's there for all to see, and it's clearly blood.
Objection! I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can state with absolute surety, no such smear of blood existed in the carriage. At least, not until this trial began.
But...
Are you suggesting, Lord Van Zeeks, that this stain of blood was... fabricated, my lord? Yes. And while this court has been in session.
What? Like, but seriously though, what? What a palaver. I must say, I didn't expect such crude reasoning from a prosecutor of your standing, Lord Van Zeeks. But I'm Magnus McGilded, a fella known all over the capital for his fine contributions to public life. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Reaper of the Bailey.
Mr. McGilded, I realize that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I am well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts.
Adapt the facts? What does that even mean?
Hold on, I need to drink something. When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGilded's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir.
Tut tut, Lord Van Zeeks. This will not do, to be sure. Will it now, counsel? Oh, no. I think it's fair to say, this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. The blood on the skylight didn't exist, you say? But, if you will all cast your minds back, is it not true that the omnibus there has been in the courtroom the entire time? How could anyone possibly have put a smear of blood in it without the world and his wife seeing? Isn't that right now, counsel? It's true. The omnibus has been in full view the entire time the court's been in session.
My learned friend, here's to hearing your opinion on this matter, in your own words.
As you wish. Could someone have tampered with the omnibus during this trial? If you're asking me, I think... Oh, geez, really? How does this go? Well, it was clearly tampered with because the things disappeared from the compartment. I did see a difference in the omnibus within the course of the... It could have been possible because we had that smoke break. Yeah, we have the smoke break. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best as I can. But still, I feel as though there's something even more important at stake here. There is no evidence to suggest that the defendant did as my learned friend suggests. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility. Oh!
Good gracious. Explain yourself, counsel. Yes, there is. It seems my learned Nipponese friend has no intention of running from this deceit. Deceit?
I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly the recess that we were forced to take. As a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently in the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. Lestrade. I can't keep that straight. Bang! What's going on? Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face.
Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom.
The courtroom was filled with smoke, and everyone was thrown into confusion. All of us were made to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in all the chaos... Whoa, a full 360! It could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. What now? Are you wise? What are you trying to pull, you rotten, feckless gouger? Feckless gouger? You're supposed to be defending me. 'Tis a wicked plot. 'Tis a plot to undermine me, so it is.
Objection! Whatever you think this is, it changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus. Inconsistencies such as... To start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear passenger seat. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of driver's items. And I saw those too. Secondly, we have the smear of blood on the edge of the skylight. As I've said, that was not present at the start of the trial this morning. Unfortunately, Lord Van Zieks, no one is able to corroborate your claims.
That's true. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight were shut. Wait a minute. What Red in the chat just said, my impression was spot on. Who did I impersonate, or who did I happen to sound like? Because actually I'm not sure who that would have been. I'm just curious, sorry.
Accordingly, I'm afraid to say, we cannot establish with any certainty if this evidence is the result of tampering or not. Indeed, my lord, no doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things.
What do you think? Sorry? About the omnibus.
Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus? I have an inkling. There's always an inkling. My lord,
Yes, Counsel.
there is one further inconsistency. A mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial.
What?
What in the devil's name are you going to say now? If you dare to betray me, you little maggot, you'd better start watching your back.
Objection! Silence, McGilded. The court awaits the defense's clarification.
Gah. This trial keeps swinging one way and then the other. I have no idea what's the truth and what's deception. That's true. This stuff's really chaotic. What am I supposed to believe here?
I shall have to ask you to elaborate, Counsel. Where exactly is this alleged mark that you claim appeared at some point during the trial?
I should have saved there instead of shit. Oh, I have one chance. Where's the mark? Where's the mark? I'm already in here, so I can't... It's this blood, isn't it? Let's examine it. That's blood, isn't it? Something wrong. Oh, it's just... Well, his bloodstain is so obvious, that's all. And yet Van Zieks has made no mention of it. I suppose that does seem a little strange. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? That makes it pretty clear to me that's probably it. Got it. If we consider that the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor of the cabin, you would certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. But as far as I recall, this bloodstain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus was first brought into the courtroom.
Good lord.
I like when he straightens his toupee like that. Looks very sheepish.
Yes, I do believe you're correct, Counsel. Well said. Although, as advocate for the defense, one might say that was a very careless slip of the tongue.
I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question is whether that evidence is genuine, or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone, I feel compelled to admit that there's at least a possibility that the evidence is fake. Yeah, see, I'm an honorable man. Respect me.
Ah!
This trial is over. Mr. McGilded? I've done everything I possibly can to cooperate with the court, but it is all over now. But you're the defendant. It is over, I tell you. Ugh. Oh, he's punching things now. Memory. Recollection. What people think they saw. 'Tis all in nonsense. Facts are what counts. And the fact is, that bloodstain is there. Now! Well... And over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as it has been, that good-for-nothing raper of the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. I'm scandalized, so I am. I thought better of Lord Van Zieks. Well, my lord?
I must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence, and in the absence of any credible method by which to prove its alleged previous non-existence, I regret to say that it would be improper for this trial to continue.
Your lordship can't be serious.
Lord Van Zeeks, what is your position? The prosecution, my lord, has no further witnesses or evidence to present. Very well. In that case, as I believe we have explored every possible avenue in this matter, I shall proceed to my adjudication. As a formality, I am of course obliged to confirm with the defense first.
What formality? As things stand at the moment, it would seem that Mr. McGilded will be found not guilty. Yes. Which would mean we've won. Is that really the right outcome here? Is it really alright for the trial to come to an end now, with all these unexplained inconsistencies?
Counsel for the defense, your closing statement, please.
Yes, my lord. The defense believes... The defendant could be guilty, man. He's already had his heel turn. I am here in this courtroom today to advocate for the defense of my client, Mr. McGilded. However, at this moment in time, I cannot in all good conscience attest fully to the defendant's innocence.
What are you saying, man?
Without any question, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the defendant is guilty. However, there is also no conclusive evidence to prove that he's innocent.
Good gracious me. Order! Order! This is unprecedented behavior, counsel. A defense lawyer calling the accused's innocence into question. Are you of sound mind? Oh, 'twas a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer, so it was. A grand decision.
What? I must say, I didn't expect quite such an exciting spectacle at the end there. But still, here, have this for your troubles. Ah, your job here's done, fella, and some fine work you've done, so you have. So you have? What do you mean? This just as the right honorable gentleman so succinctly put afore. The trial can't go on anymore. Oh, that was an interesting little glance. And your closing statement there was, how did he put it now, nothing more than a formality. Oh, weird.
I really don't know what to make of all this. Was the evidence we've seen genuine, or was it fake?
His lordship would be fuming. Any unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, as I said. The stinking rich are always guilty of something. You... Oh, my words. I feel terribly ashamed that I ever doubted that lovely man who gave us the lovely park. I kind of don't like you, Grandma. Your shtick is thin.
Now that proceedings have unfolded in this way, I'm compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea.
I thank you kindly, my lord.
I hereby pronounce the verdict of this court.
Objection! But we still haven't determined if the bloodstain in the omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth.
Lord Van Zeeks, my lord, The case made by the prosecution was flawed, plain and simple. Or was flawed, plain and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with, the prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place. My sincerest apologies, my lord.
Objection! But, wait. When we were evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zieks ordered the evidence to be secured.
I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun responsibility in this matter.
That's so unfair.
The culpability of the defendant has not, at present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment.
What? Well, Lord Van Zieks, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense.
Do you mean to tell me this has all been a grand waste of time?
'Tis the law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law.
Magnus McGilded.
Good grief, you've more to say, have you?
Just one thing. A warning. This is far from over.
Well, something to be looking forward to then. Toy, 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 toy.
I hereby pronounce the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilded, not guilty.
Hey, they had confetti back then in courtrooms. As is, you know, traditions of law and justice. Perfect. Man, what a bittersweet ending.
I can't believe it. This is an outrage. They should have examined the evidence more.
What are you talking about? The man's been cleared. He's innocent. Oh, there's no little kid going, Mother, I want to go to the Bobby. Or the loo. The courtroom in pandemonium for the second time that day, the judge delivered his verdict. And my first ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end, with the defendant being found not guilty, ostensibly a victory for us. I don't know how to feel about this, man. That certainly was a long trial. Yes, it was. Your first ever trial on foreign soil, and your first victory. It was a wonderful performance. My heartfelt congratulations. And to you, Mrs. Sato, thank you for your assistance. I suppose we should be happy. The trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened. Well, we didn't have enough time. But isn't it wrong? I mean, who was actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? We don't even know that. The sole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. You carried out your duty to perfection. Aye, that you did. Mr. McGilded. Ah, and the girl that was with him, too. And the girl is with him, too. Well, it seems the stories are true. Oh? What stories? How about the 6 enormous fireworks they do be letting off when there's a verdict of not guilty? I'm sure you must have seen them now. Spectacular, wouldn't you say? Yes, definitely. I heard it was a sight to behold, but to be sure it was. And I've you to thank, I suppose, for having an opportunity to see it. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure I really did anything. What on earth are you saying, fella? How did I walk out of there a free man, then? I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your planning. You're a straight-talking fella, aren't you? Must say, you had me astray in the head there once or twice. But you're young and headstrong. Just walked under the bridge. Congratulations, Mr. McGilded, on having your name cleared. But nothing's resolved. There's only one thing that matters to me. Oh? Aye. They've all seen that I didn't do that odious and abstinent deed. 'Tis grand, is it not? I suppose it is. Now the fine fellows at Scotland Yard can take matters in hand and sort out any wee details. They'll see it for what it is. They'll get to the truth. I have absolute faith in them, so I have. After all, I do be providing a good number of their wages with all the taxes I pay. It's not that funny. So then, as we agreed beforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fella. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly accept that much. Oh, a bit waste. You're a humble people, are ye from the east? Well, if you insist. But at this, still in all, you deserve a reward. Mr. Magnus McGilded. Everything is ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom. Into the courtroom? What's this, officer? 'Tis sooner than I was led to believe. I hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There were some changes to the schedule. Or to the schedule. Would it be schedule? Probably schedule. Well, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection. Sorry? What inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. They're going to examine it again? How? Naturally, I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this matter now. But as an upstanding member of London society, I do be doing my best to help what I can. 'Tis a gentleman's duty, so it is. So then, fare thee well. 'Twas an absolute pleasure meeting yous. I hope you have a whale of a time while you're studying here in Great Britain. And there he goes, a free man. Oh, I forgot she was here too. Look at her go. Don't move. Whereas I want to say, get a move on. She really does take forever to load that thing. Miss Lestrade, would you mind putting that thing down? You're grown up. Sorry. And I ain't all grown-ups. You're 17, though. You're not that far off. Ah! There you are. Oh god, is this going to be a big reveal? Who is this? Oh! Iris! Naughty, naughty, running off like that. Is this some kind of picnic? Who's this little girl now? And taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Ha! Oh, do you want to play? You won't beat me. Excuse me, but who are you? Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. The inventor? Well, normal smoke grenades are so dull, don't you agree? White, white, and more white. If you have to be shrouded in smoke, it could at least be a pretty color, I thought to myself.
Do we have to be shrouded in smoke, though? At all?
I just took my eyes off it for a moment whilst I was changing onto a different omnibus, and she pinched it. Luckily, I fixed it with a telegraphic beacon.
What's it? What? No idea what this girl's talking about.
Anyway, you're coming with me now. Back to my laboratory. What? What for? To apologize, of course, silly. To my technician. What? You mean say sorry? You must say sorry when you've done something wrong. Surely an adult has told you that before. An adult? Humph. I don't listen to no adults. Come along then, follow me. Fine, have it your way. Oh good. You see, I knew you want to do the right thing in the end.
I'm fairly sure that what she wants is to not get shot by that massive gun of yours.
We'll be leaving now then. Bye-bye. I'm so sorry for all the fuss.
She was a lively one. Well, do you think perhaps we ought to be on our way now too? Yes, you're right. But where to? Oh. We haven't had time to find a place to stay. No sooner had we arrived in London than we had to rush here. All our traveling cases are still with the bailiff. I was originally planning to spend today in search of lodgings, but at this late hour in the day, I'm afraid we may be out of luck. Don't worry though, I have a plan. If the worst comes to worst, I've heard of a lovely park where we could spend the night. Please tell me you're not thinking of McGilded Park. I know it may be a little chilly at this time of year, but our youthfulness will see us through. I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London night will freeze a young person solid just as easily as an elderly one. Oh dear, that doesn't sound agreeable. Now I'm starting to regret turning Mr. McGilded down. That 1,000 guineas would have paid for a lovely warm room. Or mansion. And so, the trial to determine my worthiness for the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead. Just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned, the case was far from over. Oh wow. What?
これはどういうことだ。わかりません。私が駆けつけた時にはもう現場検証が始まるまで立ち入り禁止のはずではないか。
Oh no.
まさか。
Oh no.
誰かいるのか。
No, not Santa. I mean, Father Christmas.
なんという。
He seems nonplussed and utterly unsurprised to see this. What's up with that? Whoa. Is that the first time an Ace Attorney game has used a cutscene to conclude a chapter? Or a case? Maybe not, but it does feel rare. Anyway, I guess that's it for today's activities. Interesting. The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. our Kokros will go Doki Doki soon enough. Yeah, what an ending to that case. I guess it's kind of like, wait, there's another, there are other Ace Attorney games where, like, things just keep happening over and over with, like, the same piece of evidence. Like, even in the first game, the Thinker statue just kept on coming up again and again and being used across multiple cases. It kind of feels like that's happening again in this game. Iris did cameo at the end of this episode. She wasn't named, though. She just showed up to collect a person, brandish a bazooka, and then she left. But I guess that's it for now. Thanks for watching, everybody who came by and came through, and anyone who happens to be watching now. Thank you for the good tips from people in chat, as well as the company. It really is a lot more fun when you can, like, you know, realize that anyone's, like, watching and interacting with you. It's cool, it's cool. So, thank you guys. I will probably continue this not tomorrow, definitely not tomorrow, perhaps Friday night. If not Friday night, perhaps Sunday. I'm gonna try not to stay away from streaming this game for more than a day or two at a time. 2 days max, I want to say. I'm gonna do my best to try to, you know, make sure I keep streaming this until this is done, because we're already at the beginning of episode 4, and so that would mean that, you know, I'm 2 episodes away from finishing this one game, and then after I'm done finishing the game, I might actually take a break to finish. I was also streaming AI the Somnium Files before I started this game. But when this game released, I got really excited, so I feel like I need to get through at least one game very quickly. I might, you know, try to break up the 2 games with finishing off Somnium Files in between or something like that. So, thanks everybody for checking this out. I will see you at the next stream, possibly Friday, hopefully Friday, but yeah, it'll be in the evening again. Hopefully starting a little earlier, though. Have a great night, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.